This podcast is brought to you in part by the support of the AMTV Patreons. Thank you. Hello everybody and welcome back to AMTV Radio. This is the podcast where I'm joined by a very special guest each time and we talk about, well, whatever we want to talk about, quite frankly. And today I've got one of the most well-known people in the WhoTube space. Someone all the way from down under in Australia. That was probably a terrible accent. I'm so sorry.
It's not the worst I've heard. It's not the worst I've heard.
Thank God for that. Introducing Crispy Pro, or as I'm going to call him, Oscar. How you doing, Oscar?
I'm all right, guys. G'day. How the bloody hell are you?
Did you go the most Australian there just to emphasize?
That's the most Aussie thing I can say apart from like koala bear, kangaroo.
All the staples.
Barbecue.
Oh,
yeah.
Is it put a shrimp on the barbie? Isn't that like a really stereotypical?
Chuck a shrimp on the barbie, even though we call them prawns. So I don't know. Australia's a weird place, but I love it.
It's a great place, man. Great place. I'm sure many of the listeners and viewers today will know who you are from the Doctor Who community. But for those, there's always going to be that one person in there who's like, who on earth is Crispy Pro? So for that one individual, just tell us a bit about yourself and what you do here on YouTube.
Okie dokies. Well, I'm a Doctor Who YouTuber. I've been making videos since 2013 and we cover everything. We got theories, we got a couple gameplays, discussions, bloody Taylor Swift music video parodies, all the essentials you want, really. Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just make videos on Doctor Who, and if you like Doctor Who, if you like AMTV, I'm sure you could give my stuff a go.
Hell yeah,
and
man!
Subscribe to AMTV while we're at it.
Oh, bless you! You're doing my plugs already. That's brilliant.
Oh, we gotta get the plugs. Absolutely,
gotta get them doing. Yeah, and I mean, the first thing I wanted to ask, and I think you might have explained this in a video like way long ago. I'm not sure, but the name Crispy Pro, where's that come from?
Oh, it's a stupid story. I can't remember. I think I was on a podcast a while ago called Red Archer Live, and it's this guy that has like a channel all about Payday, but he's like a massive Whovian, and I was like the one Doctor Who fan he got on. He just asked me so many questions, and I think this was one of them. Yeah, I can't remember. But anyway, the Crispy Pro name is something that I don't know. It's. I'm glad that it's stuck. But anyway, here's the story. So back in 2013, when I started my YouTube channel, I just wanted to be called Crispy.
Okay.
That was going to be my thing. I was just going to be Crispy. And so I had to type in your names to get the URL, and Crispy was taken. So I was like, oh, that's annoying. Yeah. And I wanted to be Crispy Productions, but I misspelt it, and it was Crispy Pro Productions. And I was like, oh, what the heck? What am I doing here? And so I just kind of ran with it. Crispy Pro. It should have, like, if anything, it should be like Crispy Who or something, like, to give some kind of inkling that this is Doctor Who related. But I don't know. People seem to like the Crispy Pro thing, so we've run with it ever since.
I like it. It's just it's something different, and it reminds me of that time back when it makes me shudder every time I think about it. Back in my Modern Warfare 2 days.
We've all had those days.
Yeah, but like people will put things like that, whether it was like Pro or like MLG or like XXX in there, it was like, or like, and the XXX
I never even
was
thought
always
of it like that.
It was always like small X, big X, small X for some reason. Oh, it makes me. But now I've got like a nostalgia for it. Now I can look back and go, oh yeah, that was cute. But at the time, like
the glory days.
I mean, I remember my Xbox. I think I wanted to be called Kick-Ass Ads because I thought that was like the epitome of cool. Kick-Ass
Ads.
That is
pretty cool.
But Microsoft,
that is pretty kick-ass.
Microsoft, of course, were like ass, like no, you can't do that.
Not even a $$?
Well, no, see, this is the thing. I was fucking stupid, so I was like, right, I can't. There's clearly no other way to write ass at all. So I just became Kick Ads 118, and it was so fucking stupid.
Kick-Ads.
And even though you said it, I should have just done a double $, but my stupid 12-year-old brain was like, there's no other way to spell F, I guess. So,
hey, at least it's not as bad as having a typo and running with this typo and it becoming your brand name. Oh well, I love it. It's all right.
Great.
Whatever.
But have you,
Crispy Pro is anything but professional. That's the tagline we're gonna go with for this, because
that's a good tagline. I like that. It's nice.
Yeah.
Has there ever been like a temptation to change it? Because I know when I chatted with George, Ace Creeper a while back, I think I asked him, because obviously he started off on like Minecraft
with
and
the
stuff.
Minecraft,
Yeah. And I said, "Oh, have you ever thought of like changing it?" And I think he said he's been tempted here and there to either make it, like his name or something more related to what he does now. But then he's always said, "Oh, it's that thing of people are familiar with the Ace Creeper name." So have you ever thought about changing it, or have you always just been like, "Nah, Crispy Pro, man, that's it"?
I don't think so. I don't know. It's a very interesting question because, as I said before, I feel like I should have chosen Crispy Who, but by that point when like my Doctor Who content was kind of popping off, it had already been like a year and I got used to the Crispy Pro name. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, I wouldn't change it now.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've just had a snazzy rebrand as well, so why change it?
Oh, yeah.
So I like it, man.
Yeah.
Very 80s, very 80s
way too much effort. Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. That one, it's actually an interesting topic. That like whole redesign was done by one of my mates who I didn't even know did like graphic design and stuff, because we went to college together for 3 years. And then he just made this Instagram page out of nowhere, and he had this really cool like do you know the game like Cuphead?
Yeah.
That game Cuphead. Yeah, it's got like all in like it kind of like looks like that. He had like a section where they had all that art, and I was like, that would look sick on Crispy Pro.
Hell yeah.
And so now I've got him like he made me 3 different versions of me, like in that version. Nice. He had like normal Crispy, Showrunner Crispy, and 80s Crispy. And anyway.
No, that's fab.
I just think it's cool.
That sounds great.
Shout out to Matt Griffiths is his name.
Big up Matt Griffiths over there. But yeah, no, that's fab though. I think a rebrand's I've always seen it as like a good bit of fun, because it's that moment where you can sort of go like within reason, like I can do anything. Do you know what I mean? It's like I can rebrand however I want. So yeah, man, it's exciting. And what I do with all my guests,
exciting time.
It is. And what I do with all my guests who come on, I have to always go on their channel and look back at their very first video, or at least their first video.
I know, and I was scared. I was I recently, what did I listen to this morning on the way to work? Oh, I listened to the Mr. TARDIS one. He's an interesting guy. I didn't realize how much like how heavy he was into the film and TV stuff. But yeah, you mentioned that you watched his first thing. I'm like, gosh damn it, don't go look at mine.
Honestly, though, I think yours is relatively, I think, like fine compared to a lot of people's first vids. For anyone who doesn't know, it was the adventure games, of course. Mm-hmm. Those good old 2010 adventure games, yeah. So
yeah.
So was that like, obviously that's the first video that's viewable on your channel. Was it made with the intention of like, was it either, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, this is a pretty good place to start, or was it you really wanted to talk about the adventure games in particular, and then the rest sort of like spiraled on, if you get me?
No, it was a weird bloody origin to like this whole Doctor Who thing, because me and one of my mates at school were in grade 9 or grade 10 at the time, and we were like, we're going to make YouTube channels and we're going to be huge. We're going to do gaming content, strictly gaming content. And so, I don't know if you saw back on that time, I had like a Slender gameplay and I had a couple other gameplays, but the Doctor Who adventure games got like 100 views. And I was like, all right, well, this is it. This is it from now on. Only Doctor Who stuff, no matter what. So yeah, I mean, that's literally it, only because that one got slightly more attention than the other gameplay ones, and now it's headed in this crazy direction that I'm very, very grateful for. But yeah, that video, it's like one take. It's one take, and I'm putting on this weird voice. I used to do this thing whenever a camera was on me, I felt like I needed to have like a slight American accent. If you watch it, it doesn't sound like me.
Yeah.
I think
At
it's
first
before
I was
my
like,
voice
wait,
broke
is
anyway,
this,
but yeah.
who is this?
Uh, I don't know. It's a very cringy video, but it has a legacy, so it shall remain.
Do you know what? I think
yeah.
if your first video isn't somewhat cringy, then I don't think you're doing YouTube right. Do you know what I mean? All of our
Yeah.
first videos are ever so slightly a little bit cringe. But
What was your one?
mine, funnily enough, was Doctor Who. It was a Doctor
Ooh.
Who collection video of the time of I think my classic DVDs. I had like a handful, but it was filmed on a really crappy old Samsung phone with the flashlight on. So you've just got this light reflecting off all the cases. And my voice sounding really close to the mic. Hi guys, you want to see my Doctor Who collection? Like it was just it was so bad. It was so bad. And that was
you know what I'm watching after this.
Oh yeah, you feel it's all there, and it's in like 4 parts because that was back in the day when did I think I was just before you. Mine was September 2012, and that was when you were just starting out. Your videos could only be 10 minutes long, so it's like I filmed.
Really?
Yeah, so I'd only film.
Fact.
I'd be filming and I could see the thing getting to like 9:50. I'd be like, right guys, I'm gonna have to stop there. See you in part, and then it'd cut out. Go. So yeah, it's just
unreal.
Honestly,
unreal.
It was like that though for the first 6 months. But people, it's funny though, isn't it? Like you say, people are like, oh, why don't you delete them or why don't you private them? It's like, well, that's how I started. Like, yeah, it's a bit shit and a bit cringe, but again, like I think that's how we all sort of began, or a lot of us began anyway. But
yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like even in the next 10 years or whatever, and we're gonna look back at, and it's gonna be like, oh, that was my little start on YouTube. It's just that's one thing I really like about YouTube is it's all time capsules. I can watch a video like from years ago and be like, oh, that was the day that I got my dog. That was the day, my ex broke up with me. It's all like you're like, oh wow, I've got this entire timeline laid out. So it's a little time capsule. Anyway,
all the good and the bad, but
all the good and the bad.
Yeah, as you said,
I can tell you which video too. I'm kidding.
Drama.
Actually, I think I might be able to. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Let's not give her any time.
Okay. She gone. But as you said near the start, you've done all sorts on your channel over the years. Like, you've done reviews, opinion vids, reactions, short films, Taylor Swift song parodies. Can't forget that one.
Yeah.
Has there been a particular favorite for you?
As in a favorite video ever on the channel?
Yeah. Or like one that you look back on and go like, yeah, that's the one. Like I could say I'm most proud of or whatever.
Well, look, it's probably one of the most cringy, but I made a song called I Heart the Doctor, which was like a rap that I entered for this BBC competition, and you'd like win free flights to the Doctor Who World Tour when they were premiering like Capaldi. And I didn't win at all. It was actually an ABC competition, which is like the Australian broadcast, like it's a ABC thing. But then the BBC noticed me and were like, hey, we like your style. Do you want to come to the BBC World Tour and do some interviews for us, like be our Australian correspondent? And I was like, hell yeah, let's do that. And then, that was mental. So like that was kind of like a change, like in my like stance on YouTube. I was like, oh my gosh, this can open up a heap of opportunities. I just uploaded a really dumb video of me rapping for 3 minutes. Now the BBC are in contact with little like grade 11 me. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't add up. And so, I've been very, very grateful for the opportunities that have come from YouTube in general. It's crazy. It's a crazy place.
Yeah. No, because I'd say you're one of the people in the space who I've seen, at least over the years anyway, have a lot of that collaboration with, as you say, like the BBC themselves and Doctor Who itself. Like you were on the fan show, I believe, at one point.
I was. Yeah. I was strange. I had my final ever maths exam the next day. You see, I remember weird little time capsule moments. But yeah, I was on the fan show for the Zygon inversion. I think. Yeah. And that was surreal. That was really, really nice. I met the guy that was producing that show, Chris, at that like I Heart that like at the Doctor Who World Tour. And so he would just go in contact with me being like, hey, would you like to be on the show? And like of course I'm gonna say yes. It was surreal. but it was over Skype because obviously I'm in Australia. So a few technical difficulties, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun indeed.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, that's fantastic. And it's nice to see, I think, especially over the last few years, the sort of the barrier, if you like, between, we're the BBC, the true professionals, like that barrier between them and like us, if you like, seems to be breaking down more for the better. Like they're more open to collaborating with people like us in the last few years, would you say?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's like the one thing I'm so proud that I've been able to witness is this entire WhoTube community blossom. Because at the start, like I remember it was probably just Mr. TARDIS and the Who Addicts were some of the first people that I subscribed to on YouTube. And now there are so many good content creators out there like yourself. I remember when Ace Creeper came on. I remember like Josh Snares and everything. Like it's unreal the amount of people that are making Doctor Who based content. And that it's enjoyable to watch, enjoyable to listen. So yeah, and definitely like the BBC have taken notice of this online presence because we do, weirdly enough, have a voice in this community, which is crazy, which is unreal because here we are sitting in our bedrooms just talking to a camera, but we do have a voice in this opinion in this bloody WhoTube space, and people do care about our opinions, which I find absolutely mental, but very cool, very humbling.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, what I've found in the past year or so, when I've really started to make more Doctor Who content and put myself more in the space, is how open people are to collaboration, like yourself, because I think some other YouTubers I've
Send
tried...
us a message.
Some other YouTubers I've tried to, like, not WhoTubers, like just general other YouTubers I've tried to reach out to before. Not that they've been rude or anything, but they they seem less collaborative minded than people in the WhoTube space are. Literally you could say to someone in our community, I've got a script, an audio thing, it's like 3 lines, do you want to do it? And someone's like, hell yeah, man, like, I'll do that. Yeah, no, I love it. I love that sense of collaboration between everyone, and it's just nice to see the Doctor Who community do some positives, because there sure are the negatives.
It can get very, very messy, but 98% of it has been like an absolutely brilliant experience. But Twitter can be a war zone sometimes or whatever.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh well, but no, it is very, very nice, and I'm glad that you're comfortable enough to realize that I'm only human. You can message me and ask, like a lot of us YouTubers are just genuine guys and gals. So yeah.
No, I think I think I'm just so brazen with it because of like having trained as an actor. You have to like reach out to people for like potential auditions and stuff, because I remember saying network. That word, I get Vietnam flashbacks hearing that. But just get my agent show. Oh god, that was hideous. Like in my 3rd year at uni, we had like an acting, showcase where you go and perform a bunch of pieces to a bunch of agents. But then after you've performed, you're all in the bar and you've got to mingle. And in concept, that's fine because like I'm quite a socialite. I like talking. Well, hence why I do this. But I like talking to people. I ain't got a problem with it. But it was pushed down our throats. Like you have to approach them like in a certain way. You've got to say certain things in a certain way, and I was like, no, it's bullshit. Like I just want to talk to them. I'd be like, hey, how's it going? You enjoyed the show? Thanks for coming. Like, but I had to. No, hated that. So yeah, networking just gives me
sounds very forced.
It was very,
and that's
forced.
When you have that's so. No. That would you say that was your 3rd year of uni?
Yeah, 3rd year of uni. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like was the big thing because that was where like you could get signed by an agent there and then. So it was like this big deal.
That's
like,
already enough pressure for you.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Don't get me wrong, I don't regret it, but like I think the way it was sort of built up wasn't necessarily the healthiest. It was made as like this be all end all moment. Like if you didn't get an agent, you were never going to work. But that just isn't true because I didn't get an agent there, but I've managed to work. So it's just it's fine in concept. It just needs refining. But anyway, everyone's like, Adam, stop talking about your acting career.
No, I want to hear bloody more of that. Yeah, no, that's excellent. That is excellent. I'm trying to think if I've got any acting things. I was drama captain at my school, an official title, an official badge. That was ridiculous. It literally didn't mean anything. I just spoke on assembly every now and again about what was going on in like cultural stuff.
Yeah. Isn't it mad?
Yeah.
Did you find though, like, because I know I found this because I had to do some readings in assembly once, and like found even now I find the idea of doing an assembly to all my peers more terrifying than going on like a stage in front of like thousands of randomers. Like, it's terrifying.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because everyone in those assemblies is zoning out, and then suddenly one of your fellow peers is talking. You're like, oh, okay, let's all direct our full attention here and see if he stuffs up.
Yeah.
Terrifying stuff. Horror movie.
Yeah. I hated it.
But then walking out on a stage, spotlight on you, you're like, no, this is fine. I'm in my moment.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I hated it more. I hated it in the sense that, how most assemblies, you have like the stage and then everyone's like in a row, just like facing you. In my school, we weren't on the stage, so all the year was like in a square, and you stood in the middle of that square.
Stop it.
So you had like all four sides watch it, and you always had to like be turning and twist it. So it literally felt like you were boxed in. Are
you speaking to the whole room like this?
Yeah, pretty much. I was like turning your body like every 5 seconds. Like it was horrible.
That is crazy.
It was horrible. And
did every single person have to speak? Like, if they wanted to address the assembly, they had to do this whole 360 motion.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's crazy. That's like a concert. That is
the
ridiculous.
Teachers in the corner smiling like, yeah, you fucking squirm. Yeah. Like, pretty much. Oh, the school days.
That sounds terrifying. I'm glad I didn't have to do that. Yeah. Jeez Louise.
I miss a lot of things about school, but that is not one of them. I can do without that.
Definitely not.
But
Jeez Louise.
On that sense of collaboration we were talking about earlier, some videos I wanted to bring up in particular was your WhoTube Rewind, which are great interpretations of course, the much maligned YouTube Rewind, who never seemed to get it right. So where did that? Because is it just 2 you've done so far? I think 2019 and 2020.
I've only done the 2, and they were always very, very last minute things.
So what prompted them then? So like, what made you want to go, I want to do like a Doctor Who spin on this?
Well, the idea had been like kind of floating around. I think like, I had a group chat. I still have a group chat with Ace Creeper and the Who Addicts. And in that, I think us 3 combined like came up with this concept of WhoTube Rewind. And then I, at the time, had the most subs, which I do not now, by the way. Congrats, Who Addicts and Ace Creeper. You're absolutely crushing it. I like pioneered this, WhoTube Rewind, got a bunch of people to make cameos in it, and it got people really seemed to dig it. And we did it last year. Tried to raise the stakes a little bit. And it's just a lot of fun. And as we were talking about before, it's so people are very, very willing to collaborate, and now it's kind of become a thing that people want to get into. Like, I know I'm definitely going to message you at some point in November, being like, mate, please film something for me.
Hell yeah, man.
I need it ASAP. And yeah, so no, it's been unreal. And it's kind of like almost a little like thank you to the WhoTube community for being so accepting of me over this time. And I've just tried to make a good thing for the community, and can be like a kind of full stop on that year, let's get started on the next one type thing. They're a lot of fun.
No, I think it's just a great, as you say, summation of the community, because whilst it is great, you see videos of people saying, oh, here's people you should check out in the Who space with the pictures and clips. That's great, but I think to actually have a video where there's actual people are contributing clips and stuff, it feels that more collaborative. And as I say, the 2021, the roster, I had look this one, the roster doubled in 2020 from 2019 of people you had in, I think, or it looked like from the list anyway.
Absolutely, I think Oh, it's only getting bloody bigger. Oh my word! I can't imagine. It's gonna be a documentary at the end of this year.
Yeah.
Well, you see, I don't know the future of WhoTube Rewind. I definitely want to make one this year. Yeah. And we'll see how it goes. I want to make it big and grand. But I've always been a big fan of trilogies. and they do take a lot of time to put together. So I don't know if that'll be the last one. Probably not. Knowing me, I'll be like, no. I can't go back on my words being like, it's so good for the community, but I'll only do 3. But no, they're so much fun. And I think I can't remember what I was going to say now. I've lost my point. WhoTube Rewind, it's a bunch of fun. Get keen for this one coming Boxing Day.
And then the 4th year, when you're saying you won't do one, it'll get to December 30th, 2022, and you'll just go, you'll be sat there, and then you'll just go, fuck it. Start messaging.
I don't just start texting, please. I need it in the next hour.
And I think somehow you'd pull it off. Somehow. Even if you did it that late. I don't know. I've just got a hunch. But
my entire bloody Crispy Pro career is just stress editing. Like the video yesterday, I got the bloody, what's his name? Finlay Robertson, who plays Larry Nightingale.
Yeah.
He made a small cameo in my video yesterday, as of the time of recording. And I literally only got his footage at about 3 a.m. yesterday. So I was chopping. I uploaded with about 10 minutes to go on my usual upload time.
Yeah.
And that so stressful.
Honestly.
But I'm really proud of that video too. The Blink video essay, I think I called it. What did I call
it's
it?
fantastic.
I don't know.
You guys should definitely go and check that out on the channel. And as we say, at the time of recording, it's the most recent video.
Yes.
No, I stress editing is something I sympathize with you completely. Especially, it's those times where, like you say, you've got a schedule to keep up, and you'll upload it with, say, 1 or 2 hours to go, and then you'll see that lovely little email in your Dropbox saying your video has been blocked in all countries.
Don't even get me started on that.
How has that been
ridiculous.
For you? Have you had a lot of problems with Content ID over the years, or have you managed to sail by for the most part? It's
not been as bad as Mr. TARDIS. I know Mr. TARDIS is just a constant tennis match when it comes to that. It's been okay. I figured out kind of a few loopholes as to how I avoid that. Instead of videos these days, or you notice in the last few months, I've just been using GIFs or GIFs, however you want to say. I'm not getting into that debate. I've just been using those as my B-roll footage, and that doesn't seem to get picked up. And I've got a weird little 80s distortion thing that fits my theme of the channel, but it also distorts the footage. So I don't know if it can pick that up. But yeah, I mean, if you go into the back of my YouTube, you can click on how many have been claimed by copyright, and it's gross. I'm pretty sure I've got a video, top 10 Doctor Who reused locations. It's got over 100,000 views, blocked. Well, not blocked worldwide, but I can't earn anything from it. Not a damn cent.
It's just,
But oh well. You live and you learn.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think sometimes, especially when it's manual claims on older videos, it is really that way up of I've just got to sort of take the L and move on from there. But it's more the recent ones, like you say, you put a lot of time into it and then you get hit. I don't know. I just find it really demoralizing sometimes. It's yeah, but you pace on.
Do you remember a video you worked really hard on that got wiped up in a second?
Yeah, I do. It was. Do
you wish to tell me which video it was?
Well, the first iteration of it got wiped. There is a version of it now, but it's still not monetized, and I'm currently waiting for BBC to resolve a dispute on that. And that they use the whole 30-day clock, which is ridiculous, but it was
run that out.
It was the first installment of my Doctor Who rating series, where you look at the viewing figures of the show. And I put a lot. It was a project I wanted to do for years, and for some reason I just never got around to it. So I looked at the very first season of the show with Bill Hartnell, did all the clips, did all the unspoken rules, no clips over 8 seconds or something like that, and a mixture of photos and all that, and text over the screen. And I spent God knows how many hours on it, and then I uploaded it, and it was your video's been blocked in all countries, and I was like, oh, God. So then after about...
It's gut-wrenching.
It is, and it took me about 5 different edits. And as I say, I'm glad there is a version of it up now. I'm glad there is.
Good.
And I think it's viewable I think it's viewable in all territories. It's just the monetization.
I can let you know if
thing.
it's in Australia.
Oh, well, there you go. But I mean, it's just
Yeah.
I've got some. I mean, shout out to Mr. TARDIS, great guy as we've said. But I mean, he helped me sort of, because in terms of filing a dispute, it's massive, isn't it? Because obviously there's the threat for us that we might get striked or
everything.
Exactly, yeah. But he was great in saying, this is how I approach it, and it's always worked. So, and there was 2 claims on it, and I decided to submit them separately because I didn't want to submit both and then get like double striked. But
and then did it?
Yeah, exactly. But the first one came back and that's been resolved, so it seems to have worked. So again, thank you, Mr. TARDIS.
Good.
Big shout out to you, man. He's great.
Yeah.
He's
so chill about it too.
I know, like
in the podcast, he was like, it's second nature to me now. He's got it ready to go. Yeah. I was like, wow.
I mean, I wish I could have that 2-month gap he does when he uploads like Dalek December and Cyber December. But yeah, if only I had. It's weird, isn't it? Because with the pandemic, it's like I've had more time, but by the same token, I haven't had enough time. There's still so much. I want to do.
It's always we'll always find ways to be busy, regardless of pandemics or not.
Exactly. And one of them for me has been watching good old Doctor Who, and like all of us,
I know that show.
Oh no way! Yeah, it's quite cool, isn't it? Quite a neat show.
I've got some merch back there.
Oh yeah,
I see you've got a heap of like. What's going on behind you?
Got to move my notes out of the way. So I think that was from one of the recent Doctor Who magazines. That's all like the Target book covers. And then this is
that's sick.
This is just like a wall of various badges and stuff. Like there's a 50.
Nice. You got the logo there.
Gotta get the logo in there.
Very good.
Got the calendar, and then this is just a jacket where I put like audio listeners. I do apologize. Use your imagination. So. Imagine. There's a denim jacket I have here, which is just literally covered in badges. I think there's about 100 badges on here.
That's unreal.
It's literally just all sorts of things I'm like interested in, whether it's pop culture or things significant to me. And I don't know if you'll be able to see, the video viewers might, but here is all the Doctor's outfits there. Like, remember they did that pin set for the 50th anniversary?
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow, that's taken up like a whole pocket there.
Yeah, and I've got the Capaldi one up here somewhere because he's my favorite, so he's got to have his own little.
Oh, very
he's got
good.
to have his own
very,
little
very
space.
Good.
I'm jealous that
Absolutely.
you've met him.
Yep. That's how I'll respond. I'll go. Yep. No, I did meet him. He is unreal. Yeah. I can't even put into words the type of guy he is. Yeah. Do you want me to touch on that story?
No, you go for it. Yeah, let's hear it.
So it was on that Doctor Who World Tour thing that the BBC took me on. It was Capaldi's first episode. Just finished watching it. And then the guy that was like at the BBC guy came up to me and was like, "Hey, you got to come backstage right now." I'm like, "What?" Huh? It's like, "We don't have long." I'm like, "Oh, okay." We walk past like Jenna Coleman's dressing room. She's doing her makeup and hair. I'm like, "This is unreal." That was strange. This is the first like ever interaction I've ever had with like any Doctor Who people.
Yeah.
And then we go into his room, and he's not there. I'm like, "Oh, this is weird. Are we just checking out Peter Capaldi's dressing room? Sick, awesome." And then I turn around, and he's like, "Hello, Crispy." I'm like, "Whoa,
no
man!
Way.
Jeez Louise." But yeah, no, he was so nice, and we chatted for like a good half an hour, and he seemed genuinely interested in my life and meeting me. And hang on, this is cool. I don't think anyone's ever seen this before.
Oh, exclusive video. If you're listening on audio, you might want to check the timestamp and get on the video version right now.
So, a whole year later, at Christmas, he sent me a little signed thing. He sent me a little thing. So I showed him the Doctor Who rap, and that says, "Thanks for the wonderful rap." And he says, "To Oscar, best Peter Capaldi." So,
man,
that was crazy. And like, it was just so nice, and yeah. Crazy.
He always came across that way in like interviews and what people said about him, that he was just genuinely like a big fan and just like a really nice dude.
Yeah, well, I'm like he was in all of our shoes. Like he loved the show probably more than us.
Yeah.
So I think he's very appreciative of the opportunity he was given, and is very, very much genuine and willing to give back to the fans. And so, that's made my, entire life, that entire experience.
That's the one possession you can keep a hold of.
Oh yeah, no. If the house is burning, I'm grabbing
You're
that,
grabbing that
and a copy of I Heart the Doctor.
Oh, that's mental.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I nearly got the chance to hear him. So at where I went to uni, a place called Lipper, which is a drama school in Liverpool, which is where they're filming right now, and I'm really jealous that I'm not there.
I was about to say, are you going to look out the window and see like John Bishop?
Sadly, I'm not in Liverpool currently, just because of pandemic reasons. But back at home, where
the whole
I'm
pandemic
based.
thing.
But I was just like, I've lived in Liverpool for 6 years, and now they decide to. And now I'm seeing them at all these like locations that I walk past every single day for 6 years, and I'm like, this is just sod's law, isn't it? But
typical.
But at my uni, there was a thing where because the guy who co-founded the school was Paul McCartney, so he had obviously quite a few.
Whoa.
Yeah, he had quite a few. He had quite a few
cool
connections. So every now and then, someone would come in and do like basically a Q&A with all the students.
That's awesome.
And the year after I left, so this is 2018, I think, but it was before Series 11 started. Yeah. A mate of mine who was still at Lipper messaged me and said, "You'll never guess who's coming in for a Q&A." I was like, "Who?" And they were like, "Peter Capaldi." And I was like, "Rah!" I was like, "I need," and I was trying to pull all the. I was like. Because I still did work for Lipper, like for the audition. So I was like messaging the admin. I was like, please. I was like, I know I'm not a student anymore, but please can I sing about? But they were very straight. I mean, quite rightly so. They were like, it's designed. Yeah. If we let you, we'd have to let everyone and like their cousin come in. So I got it, but I was just so gutted that he was there and I couldn't be there. So that was. Yeah,
oh man.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. Well, trust me, I bet you one day
I'm hoping. I'm hoping like when cons
it.
Get going again, and if he goes to some, I'll be able to meet him at one of those, as long as it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg, because I have no money. So,
yeah. Well, he's apparently he's very, very nice at cons. Like he's he lights up.
I believe it.
If you're wearing a cool costume, he'll definitely comment on it.
I'll have to get my best costume out then for sure. But no, I always
Do you have any? Because I don't have any. I don't have any costumes.
Well,
I don't think I own a Doctor costume. I was looking at Amazon today. I was like, I could get a Jodie one, definitely.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I don't know.
I managed to get a Jodie one for. I mean, some of you guys listening might have seen. I did basically like a little photo shoot for myself on Twitter some months ago, where I was wearing the 13th Doctor's outfit, and.
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, and do you know what? I was like, it sounds so sad. I was like putting it on. I caught myself in the mirror, and I was like, yeah. I was like, I dig this. Yeah. But I found that on I found that on Facebook Marketplace. It was one of those, where like it comes up with like recommendations, like you might like this, and it was a full Jodie outfit, and it said £10, and I was like, no way. So I messaged the seller and was like. Is this just like a base thing? Do you want more, whatever? She was like, no, like literally you can have it for £10. And it's not, I will say it's not like the high, it's not like the highest quality. It's more of like, I don't know how to describe, like, a fancy dress, 13th Doctor with like materials and stuff. But it's pretty much,
if it looks the part, then
it's the t-shirt, the braces, the coat, the trousers. So yeah, for a £10, I was happy with that, and I think
that's unreal. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I think somewhere knocking about, I've got a tweed jacket which I can, because when I used to go to cons, I just did that Matt Smith just because it was the cheapest and the easiest. I had a shirt, braces, trousers. Oh, I'll just get a tweed jacket, throw that on. I'm practically the 11th Doctor. So yeah, it's
and you feel like the 11th Doctor too.
Yeah, especially when you've got the Sonic, and you're doing all the wobbly hands and whatnot. But yeah. No, it's
so much fun.
But I don't know about you. Like, I always get slightly the few cons I have been to. Because obviously the idea is as well you meet stars of the show, and I'll always be like fine in line, and then as soon as it's like your turn, I'm like, oh fuck.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
it's happening.
It's happening. I remember meeting Jenna Coleman in 2014. It was just before Series 8 started. And again, in line, I'll be real, guys. When I was, I was a teen. I maybe had a little crush back in the day. As you do. You're a teenager.
We all do.
But in the line, I was cool. I was chill. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I know what I'm gonna do. Went up, and she looked at me, and she went, isn't that the cutest 11th Doctor outfit? And I was like, oh my goodness. And I turned to, I didn't know what to say. I was just like, thank you. And she was like, do you want a picture? And I was like, yes.
Please.
I was such an embarrassment that day, man.
Do you have the photo around? Probably not if you're not.
Not to hand, but I can send it you. I'll send it you on Twitter or something.
Oh yeah, please. I would love to see that.
But
yeah, no, I met Jenna at a con too. She's the only person I think I've met at a con. But I think it was after her time. I think it was around series 10, so she hadn't been in the role for a minute now. And I don't know. And my story is not as wholesome as yours. It was kind of awkward.
Oh.
I got the nerves as well, and I was like, oh my god, this is actually happening. And then went over to her, went up and was like, hi, I'm Crispy. And then like shook her hand. She's like, hi, I'm Jenna. I'm like, yeah, cool. And then I was like, can we do like a surprised face for the photo? She's like, yeah. Took it, and then I left. I was like, thanks. She's like, bye. And that was it. That was our entire exchange. Photo turned out great though. Very happy with it. But yeah. I was like, the nerves just kicked in. I don't know why I acted that way. The handshake.
Yeah.
What's all that about? G'day. How you doing?
G'day. Yeah.
Unreal. Oh my.
I love how you went in with, hi, I'm Crispy. Not even, hi, I'm Oscar.
Hi, I'm Crispy. Yeah, well, I was in Doctor Who mode. All day. Well, I was filming Crispy Pro at the time, so that's probably why I said Crispy. Oh, but honestly, I'm surprised I even made sense to her. I'm surprised words got out. But you know, she was nice. I just wish I was less awkward.
The one big regret I have, I think it was at that same 2014 con, was that I tried to see as many people as I could, and as I'm sure you know, it can get pricey very quickly if you start seeing like everyone.
It adds up. Adds up.
I got to meet so many lovely people, but the one I didn't do for whatever reason was John Hurt, and of course now he's sadly no longer with us. So it's my big like con regret. I wish I think it's because the convention people priced him quite high.
It's too late.
Yeah, so I think I had to like pick and choose, and for some reason I just didn't pick him. But yeah, that's my one. Like, if I could go back and like meet them, I would have said hello to John Hurt, you know. But it's hindsight, isn't it? You know, you can't help these things. But
what a phenomenal man!
Oh,
unreal,
yeah. Great dude. Great dude.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. But yeah.
So for your Doctor Who journey, as everyone likes to call it, so like, you know, your origins with the show, how did you get into this crazy old franchise?
That's another stupid story. Oh man, I'm surprised. My relationship with Doctor Who, like during this podcast, I've realized it's strange. It's not very linear. It's kind of all over the shop.
I like that though. Let's do it. Let's go all over the shop.
The reason I got into it was I was at my auntie's place, and in the background was the episode The Lodger with what's his name?
With everyone's favorite actor, James Corden. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I know that episode like isn't necessarily everyone's favorite. It's a bit of fun, whatever. But I remember the scene that caught my eye was there's like a girl on the top of the stairs, and she's like, "Can you help me? Can you help me, please? Someone help me." And I was like, what is this? Like, this is 2010. I was 11 years younger than I am now, and I was like, this is creepy, this is wild. And so I was like, okay, not sure what that was. I'll tune in next week at the same time. And that was the Pandorica Opens. And I absolutely fell in love. I had no idea what the heck was going on, but there were these cool monsters and this main actor guy that's like all over the shop. His hands are everywhere. And I'm like, what is this mayhem I'm witnessing on screen? And yeah, absolutely fell in love. And then series 6 kind of like sold the deal. Like that Impossible Astronaut Day of the Moon 2-parter are probably the most nostalgic episodes I will ever have. I've watched those 2 episodes so many times. And like that entire like arc of like, is the Doctor dead? Was one of the most exciting things that was happening in my life at that moment. That kind of took priority. Yeah. And so yeah, that's kind of how I got into Doctor Who, because it was just randomly on in the background at my auntie's house while we were having dinner, and it was James Corden. So thanks, James. Appreciate James Corden, you
Hey,
legend.
for all we slam James Corden, just keep in mind, guys, if it weren't for him, you wouldn't have a Crispy Pro.
No Crispy Pro.
No Crispy Pro.
Yeah.
So
that's quite funny. I think that should be a tweet tonight.
There you go.
By the way, guys, James Corden made my career. Will make sense in future podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. Just no context. Just like tweet that out there. But that's so lovely though, because I think, you know, for like a lot of people I've chatted with who are, you know, a similar age to me or slightly younger, slightly older, whatever. You know, for a lot of us, it was, you know, when it's revived in 2005 where we all jumped on.
Yeah,
so it's lovely to hear someone like yourself who jumped on a bit later, but also has such a love and nostalgia for those early Matt Smith seasons. Because I know for me, and for a lot of others I'm chatted with, again, no slander to, I know you know where I'm going with this, but no slander to Matt Smith or anything like that. But those seasons for me, well, I don't hold as much nostalgia for, and even in retrospect, I feel I can't connect with those stories as much. I think for a variety of reasons, but what I always love about Doctor Who opinions is I love, like, say, people take a story or a season that I'm not that fond of, and they go, "Oh yeah, but I love it because of this." So I'm glad that you have such an affinity for it. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, so were you like there on the 30th of March 2005?
I was, and
Rose.
It was only because of my dad, really. And I'll breeze through this because again, regular listeners will be able
of course. Sorry,
this. No, I'm happy to share it. But it was the teaser trailer, you know, with Chris Eccleston going, "You want to come with me?"
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, "Why is this man running in front of a CGI ball of fire? And what is this console thing with all the round?" And my dad was watching it at the time, and he said, "Oh, they're bringing Doctor Who back," because he remembered it from way back when, and he was like, "Oh, you'll like this," because I was 9 at the time, which I think is a peak age to start watching Doctor Who.
Prime age to get to Doctor Who.
He was like, "Right, we'll all watch this then," and we all sat down, and literally by the end of, you know, when Rose runs in the TARDIS, I was like, "Cool, I'm in. Let's do it, man." Yeah. And I just never looked back. But it's so weird to think, though, because I know for me, before then, you know, I didn't know what the TARDIS was. I didn't know what a Dalek was. I didn't know Doctor Who. It just wasn't part of my... everyone's like, you know, even... Maybe for the adults, of course, who knew it. But like for kids growing up in the early 2000s, I'd argue before Doctor Who started again, unless your parents had, you know, like VHS tapes or remembered it, it wasn't part of the pop culture conscience for kids, crazy. Which is mad. I mean, what was it like for you?
Strange thought.
What was it like for you in the RTD era then, when considering you didn't watch it then?
Well, here's the thing. Probably this is an exclusive right here.
Oh,
one of my, I think it's coming back to me. One of my first ever exposures to Doctor Who, and I'm only realizing this now because I know the exact shot they had in the thing.
No way.
It was in music class, and we watched the BBC Proms. We watched the when they had Freema Agyeman and David Tennant co-hosting. They had all the music from Doctor Who. And so that's about it. And I remember I had friends that liked Doctor Who, but I just kind of disregarded it because, you know, in Australia, we have all kinds of different shows. I didn't even know what I watched growing up. Yeah. Blue's Clues. That's not Australian.
Man.
But no. So I remember I had friends that watched Doctor Who. But it took me, like, my cousins and my auntie were like diehard Doctor Who fans, and I didn't even realize it because that was why the telly was on during dinner, because they had to watch Doctor
they had to
Who.
Catch it, yeah.
If it was any other night, I don't even know if I would be, you know, here today.
That's so crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So
like
during the RTD era, like, I really, thinking back, it wasn't on my radar. I know it existed. Because I think, like, my parents obviously knew what it was. My mum remembers an episode from Classic Who that it had like this green goo. I haven't seen much of Classic Who, as all my subscribers hate. But there's the green slime episode, and Mum said that scarred her. Do you know an episode where there's green slime?
I mean, the instant one that pops in my head is the Green Death with the giant maggots, because I think that has
that's probably
I think that's a cave scene where there's a lot of green slime. But I think, or it could be the Ark in Space, you know, with the like lava thing. There's a lot of green slime in Doctor Who.
A lot of green slime in Doctor Who. Oh, it doesn't surprise me. Yeah. So yeah, I knew of it. But yeah, it took me until 2010, and that was like a strange jumping on point, I guess. Like if I watched the 11th hour, I can assure you I'd be hooked.
Yeah.
From the get go, and so it's like it's a strange origin for my Doctor Who watching. But you know, from my perspective, I am insanely jealous that you were there on launch day. Like that's a part of history. That episode is a part of history, and you know, when it gets to the bloody 100th anniversary, and hopefully it was still around, you'd be like, hey, I was there when they brought it back in 2005. I watched
so weird.
You see that Eccleston? You see that insanely old man in the special? I was there for his first episode. I was there for his day one. And it's interesting because I think if I did watch it from 2005, I probably would have a similar like perspective on the Matt Smith era, because you know, we've gone from the highs of Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant, which I know so many people, like some people I know exclusively will only watch David Tennant.
No way.
You know, the David Tennant fan, but and I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, jumping on with Matt Smith, like he was my like be all and end all. And then we got Capaldi, watched his first episode, was able to meet him directly after. And then he said, "You look like Matt Smith." And I'm like, get the hell out of here, you old man. So yeah, for that era had such a nostalgia for me. And like I definitely have my problems with it, but I don't know. Doctor Who in general for that era was chef's kiss for me.
Yeah. No, I respect that massively, and I think it is, you know, I think why people to some degree, you know, love an era so much or dislike it so much is partly due to how they came into it. You know, I'm sure if I had the same thing as you, where I came into the Matt Smith thing, I'd probably have the same affinity for it as you do. But yeah, no, I just love hearing people's different origin stories, if you like, because I think everyone's got, even if a lot of us jumped on at the same point, everyone's got a different lead in. Everyone's got a different introduction. Yeah. No, that's and just a slight one of Adam's favorite tangents, just because you mentioned in Australia you have many different TV shows. I remember now. I was born in Singapore, and after a year and a half, we moved to Belgium. But my dad, because he was a businessman, traveled the world. He had relatives in Australia, and who are still there actually. Okay. And from what I remember, they brought back this is just around somewhere. I think
it's a small island, mate.
From what I remember, they brought back a VHS tape for me I was on like 3 or 4 of a show called Blinky Bill.
Oh yeah, Blinky Bill.
Yeah, I didn't just make that up. Yeah, that was a thing.
But that exists. That's that's a big part of my childhood. It's just this animated TV show of this.
I loved it. It was only like 3 episodes, but I really liked it. I was like, yeah, this is cool.
Like, I can get you the whole series, mate.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, good old Blinky Bill. Yeah, no, he's good. He's all animated now, like 3D animated now.
Oh, is
he?
Not
as fun, yeah. I don't even know if it's still going, but it's like a core bit of Australiana.
Yeah.
But no, absolutely. Damn, I can't believe Blinky Bill was brought up on this podcast today.
No, I just remember having that one tape with like the 3 episodes, and I've got vague remnants of the theme song in my head, but it was just it was an awesome show. But I mean, looking back, you couldn't get a more like Australian title or character. You know, the lead character's a koala. He's called Blinky Bill. Yeah,
Blinky Bill. Yeah, no, that is quintessential Australia. Absolutely.
So see, guys, if you ever go to Australia, just don't bother with the sights. Just whack on some Blinky Bill, and you'll
understand everything. You'll understand the culture, the people, everything.
It will all make sense. But one thing I like to ask a lot of my guests is, you know, we all have, I think, that Doctor Who story where, you know what fandom can be like, where one story by the majority can be lauded as like the great City of Death is the greatest thing ever. Like, okay. And then another story can be like, the Twin Dilemma's the worst thing ever made. Again, okay. So do you have a story in the vein of like the Twin Dilemma that I'd say that, you know, the majority are like, this bad, but you're like, I actually kind of like this?
Oh, I feel like I've only ever been asked the reverse of that.
Well, we can do the reverse after if you want, just to get both sides.
I don't even know what my response to that was. let me. I need to think about this for a
No,
second.
that's fair.
Oh,
That's fair.
no, I've got it.
Yeah.
I've absolutely got it. I'm not gonna have a dig, but I don't care what Mr. TARDIS says.
Oh.
Asylum of the Daleks. I love it.
Oh.
I love it to pieces. I love it to pieces. I'm kidding. I'm not here. He's so good at justifying himself. That's why I like Mr. TARDIS.
Yeah.
But I do remember watching Asylum of the Daleks. I had all my friends over, and they were like, "Oh my god, that's the new companion." But wait, Oswin, what? Like she dies? Huh?
Yeah,
it was just so much fun, and I think because of the experience I had with my friends and having like everyone talking about like who is Oswin? Oh my gosh, Amy and Rory only have a couple episodes left. Like Asylum also is very, very nostalgic to me, and I think it looks great. I don't think they should have marketed that episode as having every Dalek ever. That seems like one of the dumbest moves. It would have been such an awesome Easter egg if they just didn't say anything.
Yeah,
they would have got so much credit if they were like, oh my gosh, is that a classic? Is that a classic Dalek? What's going on here? But yeah, I know a lot of people have their gripes with that episode, but I think that's perfect popcorn Doctor Who. Yeah. Don't think about it too much.
No, I think my problems with it were, I think like you said, I think at the time, like on broadcast, it was a decent watch because of like all the build up and it was the start of a new season. I do remember, I think when I very first watched it, I think on the whole, I did enjoy it for the most part.
Yeah.
I just think it was more, from what I've gathered anyway, like, in retrospect when the rest of Series 7 came out, and then when you realise, like you said, that it isn't every Dalek ever, which was a very stupid tag.
It seems very strange.
And some people say, in the intensive care unit, like, and they say, oh, it's Daleks from, like, Exelon.
Yeah.
Despite all, like, the classic Who stuff.
They're just the bronze ones.
Yeah, and some say, oh, well, you can't stop complaining too much. And it's like, yeah, normally I'd be like, yeah, let it slide. But you can't go in saying we're gonna have every Dalek ever, and then make references to said stories and then not feature the props.
It seems strange. I feel like emails were sent back and forth, being like, "This is our marketing tactic. People are gonna hype this up." Yeah. And someone behind the scenes was like, we don't actually have that.
Yeah,
like we make reference to it, and we do have a couple of old Daleks, but don't go, getting people's hopes up.
Yeah.
Scary. I remember that being the big. That's a bit strange, but my friends aren't in the Doctor Who news.
Sure.
That was so they absolutely loved it. They thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my guilty pleasure. Absolutely, Asylum of the Daleks.
There you go.
I know you probably said it before on this podcast, but what's yours?
Well, mine's the Twin Dilemma. Which I
very good.
I did a for anyone who hasn't seen it, I did a commentary track with Davies, the Broke Cannon Man, about the Twin Dilemma.
Oh yes, very good.
Check that out. But yeah, I just think I remember it was always, before I watched it, it was always, again, perceived in fandom like this is the worst of the worst. Like Doctor Who does not get any worse than this point.
Right.
And you have that preconception going into it. And I watched it and I was like, this really wasn't that terrible.
The be all and end all.
Yeah, like I was entertained a lot by it, and yes, it has its problems, but I think I appreciate more, especially in the context of the time, what it was trying to go for with the Sixth Doctor. I just don't think they didn't execute it in the best way. Like, I don't think necessarily the Doctor should have been seen to strangle Perry in the way that he did.
Yeah, I was about to say, look, I don't know if I've seen the episode, but one thing I can tell you, I'm pretty sure there's a strangling scene.
It's the bit everyone always latches onto, but I think that's it. It's like people will do that thing of, oh yeah, it's the one where he strangles Perry, it's bad, the end, without looking at the end. And again, the rest of it's not perfect. Like, there's these two twins that are awful to watch, and there's other bits and pieces, but like I really enjoy like the concepts and the ideas of it, and I think you can work with the idea like you have a regenerated Doctor who has the potential to be violent, not that he necessarily acts on it, but maybe
that's a good concept.
Yeah, I just think they ran away with it a little bit, but I don't think it deserves to be the bottom of all the polls of like this is the worst. I would argue we've had worse. Like some of I always get flack for this, but some of the later Patrick Troughton stuff, the Dominators, the Space Pirates. I don't believe in my heart of hearts that they are better than the Twin Dilemma. Some people argue that they are, and that's great, but just in my opinion, the Twin Dilemma gets a lot of unnecessary hate. So that's always my one. Yeah. So
there we go.
What about on the flip side then? The one that you, or what was it? The one that you don't like as much, but everyone's like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah. Oh, I know. So I think my response would be, now hear me out, guys. Keep listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the best episodes in Modern Who, up until the last scene, is Heaven Sent. Okay. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But when he chucks on his glasses and says me, it loses a few points. It's like nothing to downgrade the quality. Like that episode is the closest thing Doctor Who will ever get to poetry. It is stunning. But I think that ending, and like, like a Hellbent's coming up, and the whole implication as to why he said that line. But I don't know. So that's probably one scene I have a gripe with. I have to, if we had to do a thing on like one scene, I would take out of Doctor Who, be that, like reword it slightly.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I don't really know. I can't really think of one off the top of my head.
Yeah. No,
I'm trying to think of ones that everyone says is the best. I feel like Girl in the Fireplace is a strange one. I feel like that's really highly regarded. And I think, like, I don't know, it's got such a strange tone, that episode. Yeah. I feel like I need to rewatch that, because I watched that when I was like just starting off, like going, like I watched the Pandorica Opens, and then I like went back and watched all of David Tennant's, and that one I always felt like had such a strange tone. Yeah. It was real creepy. But I think I need to go back and rewatch that again. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm could go on of the best Doctor Who episodes and nitpick them all day.
It's good, man. That's what we do best. So.
Yeah, professional nitpickers.
Professional nitpickers. Yeah, I think
I'll get us t-shirts.
I think in my case, it's stories where, mainly for Classic Who for me, because I think when I started to get into Classic Who again, you have those stories that are hyped up as like being the pinnacle, and I think sometimes it's not healthy. Sometimes I think it doesn't help, because you go into it expecting it to be the greatest thing on earth, and I think depending on your tastes or whatever, like again, I think I've said this before, but City of Death for me, where they go to Paris and all that, it is good, but again, like I don't find it as good as everyone makes it out to be, and I think part of that was the hype around it. People tell me, oh yeah, you'll think this is the greatest story ever made, and it's just not, in my opinion.
Is that one of the most viewed episodes?
I think it is. I think when you average it out, I think it is the most viewed Doctor Who story ever. Yeah, like 14.5 million viewers or something crazy.
Unreal. Yeah, because I did a video a while back talking about the most viewed Doctor Who episodes. I remember researching that, and I saw that figure, and I was like, whoa. Yeah. Doctor Who was crazy. I talked to like all my parents' friends, whenever I say, oh, I've got a Doctor Who channel, they was like, oh yeah, I used to watch Doctor Who, and I was like, oh, which one's your doctor? Like, oh, the one with the scarf. I'm like, yep, it definitely was. It definitely was. The one
with the scarf.
Yeah, Doctor Who is such a cultural phenomenon. Yeah. But yeah, no, damn, I'll have to watch that one too.
Yeah, no, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on it. And I mean, a lot of
they are coming. My Classic Who thoughts are coming eventually.
Don't worry, crispy fans.
Plans this year.
Coming. Leave him alone a bit.
It's been such a process.
But as a Doctor Who fan in Australia, I guess in terms of I guess it's different in some ways to being a fan in the UK. I guess mainly on the merch front, because I've seen people say before, depending on your region, same in America as well, or wherever. What's it like trying to, I guess, be a fan in Australia in terms of like gathering merch and stuff? Like, is it as difficult as they say it is, or?
Look, Doctor Who is pretty huge here, I would say. Well, I mean, ever since I started making YouTube content, I've just noticed how much of an impact Doctor Who has here. Like, we have we have Fandom shops here, quite big Fandom shops, and there's always a Doctor Who section. Oh, nice. And so, and Doctor Who usually gets a main slot whenever the new episodes are coming out. It'll be on 7:30, but it used to be on 7:30 Sundays, which was like such a nice ending to the week. But when they moved it to Sunday in the UK, it's now Monday nights for us. it's strange. It's a bit weird, and it makes being, full-time work and having to get a review out that night a bit stressful.
Yeah.
Anyway, side rant there. But no, I think the Doctor Who fandom is definitely very, very accessible, and I've never had any problems getting merch. You've got like our Kmart's here, and they usually sometimes have like licensed stuff. Like I'll just rock up to Kmart and be like, oh, what the heck's a Slovene doing on a t-shirt over there? But no, I think Australia's a pretty good place to be a Doctor Who fan. Like we're the one other place the Doctor Who festival came to.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So, and I found that crazy. I know there's a huge, huge market for Doctor Who in the US, like massive. And yeah, so I'd say UK, US, and Australia, we do pretty well for ourselves in terms of Doctor Who reach.
Yeah.
I haven't really had any problems with getting merch. I've got quite a few in that cupboard.
Yeah. Oh, good. No, I'm glad. I mean, I just think when you hear, it's the same, I guess, wherever something originates from, there's always some products that seem like you can only, or it feels like you can only get them in like the home territory, if you like, and it's harder to get. I mean, especially with us now, with good old Brexit coming in, those import fees, man. Oh, jeez, it's horrible.
Well,
but yeah, thankfully for Doctor Who, don't have to worry about that too much. But yeah, it's okay. It's all right on that front. So, just rounding off on things then, in terms of your channel, have you got any like immediate plans for the future, or anything like any ambitions that you want to achieve on the channel in the near future?
Oh gosh, there's like so much I want to achieve with the channel, and most of it we like. Very thankfully, we have done some incredible things on the channel, like WhoTube Rewind, Capaldi. Having Larry Nightingale in my last video as of time of recording, like absolutely insane experiences. But for the future of Crispy Pro, it is looking very, very bright. Did just do an update look to the channel, gave it a fresh splash of paint. So I wouldn't do that if I didn't have things planned.
Yeah.
So I have a few episodes recorded of a Doctor Who episode from the Bad Review. Got a few of those in the can. Confused Adipose will be guest starring on one of those.
Hey, nice.
And I've got some other series. I'll be doing a Classic Who series eventually. And WhoTube Rewind coming Boxing Day. But no. I mean, the channel, I'm just sticking to weekly right now. It's about all I can manage. But people seem to be really responding to that, and I'm very, very grateful for everyone that has joined us on this journey so far, until I can submit a piece of paper applying for showrunner.
Crispy for showrunner.
Crispy for showrunner.
I guess that would be my final thing to ask you. And if it's all top secret, you don't have to divulge anything. But if you were to become showrunner, to take over this crazy old franchise, have you got anything set in mind that you'd want to do to the program?
Oh yeah, I would move it to a Saturday so our Australian viewers can watch it on the weekend too.
Nice.
That's number one.
It. Yep,
number one priority.
Top list.
I think I found I was at work the other day. I went through some old files and I found some notes from like 2 years ago on like a fake Doctor Who series. And so I really want to do a video where I take those notes and apply it to like what I know now about the show and how, things run, about like if I were to be showrunner. Yeah. And I'm trying to remember what I wrote in those notes. I was actually like half surprised. I was like, what? That's not bad. That's all right. That could be an interesting episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one thing I would love to do, if I actually did get the showrunner role, I think I'd have one experimental season where the entire thing was one story.
Yeah.
I think like that could be kind of cool.
Like a Trial of a Time Lord sort of thing, or
So I think I'd try something like that. I don't know. It'd be very experimental, but I think I would, obviously like try the whole Russell T Davies thing of having your Avengers Endgame moment towards the end of my tenure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. What would you do if you ran the show?
Well, no, I think I'm glad you said experimental, because I think Doctor Who produces some of its best work when it takes more risks. I know maybe for a general audience,
Absolutely.
it's not perceived as like the best move ever, but I just think the nature of the show is so like, I think especially when Heaven Sent, as you said, first came out, it was so different in the sense that it was very much a solo piece. And to get that on, a Saturday night in a prime slot, it just doesn't happen.
Unreal.
And it was, yeah, I'd love to. I've always thought it'd be cool to do, although I don't know how well it would work in theory, obviously, but in my head it sounds like a good idea. I love the idea of doing a Doctor Who episode where it's all told through like the actions and visuals, but there's no dialogue. Like, yeah,
like a Pixar film.
Exactly. Yeah, I think what inspired me was like the first half of WALL-E, where there's barely any dialogue, but it's so beautiful,
incredible.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how well it would work in theory, but I always thought that'd be, even if it wasn't a full episode, like if it was just like a mini-sode or something. I just think that idea. Put it
online.
I think Doctor Who again is right.
That is cool.
You can tell a story without surely, or very minimal dialogue. I'm sure. Like I think there's a way to do it.
Yeah. Well, there is that. Have you ever seen what's it called, BoJack Horseman?
I've seen bits. I haven't seen all of it. Yeah.
Well, they have an episode where the entire thing is underwater.
Okay.
And nobody speaks. Nobody speaks in the entire 22 minutes. And it's so like jarring because, BoJack Horseman is like a very witty comedy show. And so when I was watching, I was like, what is going on? And it pulled at my heartstrings. Was not expecting that. But yeah, I think for Doctor Who, how you would apply that, I don't know. Would it be central around the Doctor and the companion, or would they have to go somewhere where they couldn't speak? Like there's a monster that will. I think part
of me thinks it would just be like just a Doctor solo piece, and I have a rough concept in my head. I won't say it here on the podcast.
Don't divulge.
I'll tell you privately. But...
We'll turn the mic away.
Just start doing that. Yeah. But no, I think just sort of like you said, I'd love to get more experimental with the show. Just to try, because I think it's in a position now where, let's face it, even if it necessarily doesn't do that well in the ratings, the BBC, for the foreseeable anyway, are going to keep it, because they're getting a lot of recognition now in China, aren't they? Which of course is a huge
massive market.
So yeah, I think they'll keep the show on air for a little while longer yet. And if
I'm pretty sure they've signed on for a while now, at least the next 5 years, I think. But it's one of the amount of, we were just talking, the amount of merch we have, it is one of the BBC's top properties. And people always go on about the ratings. I'm sure you probably talked about this with Mr. TARDIS too. But less people watching TV now, and it's the streaming era. So yeah, definitely screw it. Let's get some experimental Doctor Who. I'm very keen to hear your idea.
Yeah, man. I'll definitely
Adam
let you
Kickass or whatever your name.
Kick-ass ads 118, mate. That's
Kick-ass ads. Sorry, my bad. It'll be like episode 1, Heaven Sent by Kick-ass ads.
Yeah. And I'll do the $2 signs finally after all these years.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. He finally did it. That's how I'll know. We won't speak for ages, and then I'll be watching Doctor Who one night. I'll see the showrunner credit. God damn it, he did it.
Yeah.
God damn it, he did it.
After all this time. Oh, well, Oscar, mate, this has been an absolute blast. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. This has been wonderful.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Before we go, if there's anything you want to shout out, your channel or social media or otherwise, feel free to do so now.
I'm going to shout out my channel, social media, and otherwise. Thank you. No, seriously, thank you so much for having me. I'm very, very much fond of this podcast, and you've been an excellent host, so can't thank you enough.
No, pleasure. Honestly, it's all of your links will be in the description or wherever YouTube puts the cards now. It feels like they change it every week, so I'm just going to do this just to cover all my bases. And for all the listeners, thank you very much for watching or listening. If you're watching on YouTube,
thank you.
Exactly. Thank you very much if you're watching on YouTube, giving you a little wave. Please subscribe to the channel, leave your comments down below, leave a like, let us know what you thought. We've got new episodes coming for you every week. And if you're listening to us, again, hello, on Spotify or Google or wherever it is you get your podcast, pretty much I think all the major ones, wherever you listen, we're on there. So give us a follow there or whatever the term is. Again, new episodes coming every week. And all that's left to say once again is, Oscar, mate, thank you so much.
No, thank you. Be good, guys. Allons-y.
Allons-y. And until the next one, I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.